a set, if not two, in that one. But ultimately, it was a fairly easy semifinals on the men's side. Then in the finals, you had Novak Djokovic win in 4 sets over Roger Federer, 6-4, 5-7, 6-4, 6-4. I want to say that marks the 10th major now for Novak Djokovic, and him and Federer are like the only two to win multiple stuff and something and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Look it up. I'm running out of time. Okay, but anyway, so that's what happened in the U.S. Open tennis. It was a great watch, especially the women's side match with Serena and Vinci. That was one for the ages. Go back and watch it. And honestly, the Djokovic-Federer finals on the men's side was a great, great tennis match too. I mean, anytime, 6-4, 7-5, 6-4, 6-4, like that's a good competitive tennis match, man. So anyway, there you go. All right, as far as golf goes, FedEx Cup, like I said, I believe the last I saw the standings, Jason Day is looking like he's going to win it. Jordan Spieth would probably be the only other person, and I said that going into it. Those two have had, by far on paper, the best golf seasons. They're the only two candidates for Golfer of the Year. They're the only two people who have a believable realistic shot at winning the FedEx Cup based off of how many tournament wins and major wins they have this season. No one else even comes close. It is really a two-man race for that. Last I checked, Jason Day looks like he's going to bring that home, as he's still peaking from his PGA Championship victory, and Spieth is kind of tapering down after his 4 majors with a first, fourth, and second finish, respectively. All right, no NASCAR this week. Sorry. Boxing. Floyd Mayweather, like I said, he defeated Andre Berto via unanimous decision this Saturday in Las Vegas to go 49-0-0 in his career. He has never lost, and he has never tied. And it was announced going into the fight that this is Floyd's last fight. I said last week, and ever since it was announced, that is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever heard. Anybody who believes that, like, you're probably the most gullible person on the planet. And ultimately, it was just like I said, it was a unanimous decision that they didn't even need to have this fight. This fight made sense, much like the Pacquiao fight 3, 4, 5 years ago. It made no sense now whatsoever. Berto is nothing. He's nobody. He has no career. And there was not one point made at any point in time where you go, oh yeah, no, Floyd and him should fight at least once, and settle that. Like, no, Berto is not even remotely worthy to be anyone who gets to put Floyd Mayweather on their, I lost to Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. on their resume. Berto should not have had that opportunity and that right. Never earned it. Should have happened about 5 years ago when he was an up-and-comer with a lot of potential and a lot of buzz. Not now when he's lost 4 of his last 6, 5 of his last 7 fights, something like that. And the 2 fighters that both of them have faced, Floyd beat easily both of them, and Berto lost to both of them convincingly. Like, just on paper, this was the dumbest fight ever. But supposedly it's Floyd Mayweather's last. So he will go out at 49-0. However, I don't buy that for a second. I think that he will go out 50, and I think he wants to hit 50, and that's going to be it. 50-0-0. That's what he's going for. I think if they can make $1 bajillion one more time with Pacquiao Mayweather 2, that will be his actual final swan song retirement fight, and that will happen sometime before the end of this year or in the spring to early summer of next year. And there's your boxing. Floyd Mayweather had his last fight, but it's not his last fight. All right, so now in our little bit of UFC news, Ronda Rousey has spoken up about her disgust, displeasure, and general disapproval of MMA UFC fighter Nick Diaz's 5-year suspension. Now, Nick Diaz recently had a court hearing finalized regarding, drugs, and he tested positive for marijuana in the UFC. And because of that positive marijuana test, he is suspended for 5 years. Nick Diaz suspended for 5 years from fighting in the UFC because he likes to smoke marijuana. Ronda Rousey has just unloaded on all of this. There is no reason, she says, to test for marijuana in the UFC. It's a plant that makes people happy. It in no way gives anyone any sort of competitive advantage, and that's the point that I can't argue with one bit, and there is no premise for this whatsoever. This is illegal. This is unconstitutional. Like, this is everything about this 5-year suspension for Nick Diaz is wrong. A lot of people don't like Nick Diaz, for whatever reasons, but that's irrelevant here, whether you like Nick Diaz or not. The point of the matter is that a guy who makes his living fighting, tested positive, fighting UFC, tested positive for marijuana, and because of that, he is suspended from working, making a living for 5 years, when it in no way gives you any sort of competitive advantage. That's, you know what, I'm just going to come, that's going to lead to our balls deep thought of the day, which is going to be real quick, real short, and real quick. But so yeah, Nick Diaz out for suspended 5 years UFC for smoking weed. Insane. All right, last couple bit of quickies. Like I said, WWE, we got Night of Champions coming up this Sunday night. The main matches will be WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins defending the World Heavyweight title against Sting. That's right, 57-year-old Sting from back in the 90s in WCW. He is wrestling in WWE part-time right now, and he has a title shot this Sunday. I repeat, do not expect him to win that match. And if he does somehow win the title, almost 100% guarantee that Sheamus will come out, cash in Money in the Bank on him, and take that title from him. Now, even if Seth Rollins retains it, there is a lot of rumor that Sheamus, is expected to cash in at Night of Champions, whether that be successfully or unsuccessfully. The main reason for that is Seth Rollins is fighting in a second match that night. He is not just defending his World Heavyweight title against Sting, he is also defending his newly won United States Championship against the man he took it from, John Cena. John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. Just so you know, whenever they play his entrance music, that's what you sing at the top of your lungs as loud as you can. It's funner than a barrel of monkeys, okay? But so with Seth already being scheduled for 2 title defenses, it makes all the sense in the world that the person who holds Money in the Bank briefcase would cash it in after he fights that second fight, and is super beat up, worn down and everything, and take it. It's just sensible. So likely then we won't see it from the WWE. A couple other matches that we've got, or at least 1 or 2 other matches that I know of. We will have the Divas title on the line. Charlotte, all the titles are on the line. That's one thing I love about Night of Champions. We got Charlotte, who will be taking the Divas title away from the new longest reigning Divas champion of all time, Nikki Bella. I felt that they handled that writing horribly. On Monday night, Nikki Bella tied AJ Lee's all-time longest reigning Divas champ record. She had to defend her title against Charlotte on Monday Night Raw. So to me, it was absolutely perfect, where that's where we get it to Charlotte. Nikki's still the longest reigning Divas champion of all time, but so is AJ. And then, in a year or 2 or 3, whenever we have Paige or whoever break that record, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, whatever, they'll be breaking 2 people's record. And so, it's just that much more getting over, by WWE, standard thinking, So to me, it made all the sense in the world. Charlotte should win it. Nikki still tied the record. She shares it with AJ, and that's awesome, and that's great. And then we still have our, and then she gets her rematch at Night of Champions. And the match they were having Monday night was phenomenal. From a technical wrestling standpoint, those 2 girls were putting on an exceptional, those 2 women, were putting on an exceptional technical wrestling match. But then in classic WWE fashion, they ruined the finish with the writing, and just completely left a unsatisfied, unentertained taste in everybody's mouth. And that's just what they insist on doing week after week here to kill this Divas Revolution. There is a Divas Revolution going on in the world of professional wrestling, and it stems primarily from Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, NXT especially, and other wrestling promotions. WWE is literally the last people to get on board with this and try to, work an angle with it, and they're claiming that it's all theirs and they're starting it and this is the beginning of it, and they're just ruining it, and it's awful. And WWE needs to stop messing up the Divas Revolution, unless my conspiracy theory is that Vince is subtly, secretly trying to undermine the Divas Revolution because he doesn't want it to get, too big. He's got how he likes everything to be, and everything's got a purpose and a place. And the Divas' purpose and place is nowhere near the top of a match card or a main event, or even worthy of a storyline for that freaking matter. So that's my theory on that, conspiracy theory. But then for the IC, we've got Ryback defending against, taking on my man, KO, Kevin Owens. Ugh. If Kevin Owens can, properly destroy Ryback, those two might be able to have a good match. Ryback, it's hard to get entertaining good matches out of that guy. Very a la Ultimate Warrior. Like, he's just such a worthless technical wrestler. But visually, he's got what the WWE wants. And from a fan response, he tends to get what the WWE wants. Not to the same extent that Warrior did, not even close. That's what made Warrior an immortal, a legend, an all-time icon. And Ryback's just, a mid-carder yet. But Kevin Owens is so awesome. He's one of my favorite young guys. Not necessarily young, but favorite new guys. And that should be a great IC match, I'm hoping. And if Kevin Owens wins it, then all's going to be right in the world, and I'll be happy with whatever happens at the rest of Night of Champions. I won't complain about one thing. I could hate the finish of every match. I could hate the matches of every match. I won't complain about a bit of it, so long as KO walks out the new Intercontinental Champion. And then our last title match that I forgot to mention, not the last title match of the night, but the title match I forgot to mention then too, would be your tag team champions, New Day Rocks. New Day Rocks. One of the best things on WWE TV right now is the New Day. They are about as entertaining as it gets. You either love them and find them hilarious, or you hate them and want to jump into your TV and strangle them. Both are perfect for what the WWE offers via entertainment. So they will be defending their tag team champions against the newly returned, everybody's super excited about, Dudley Boys. That's right, Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley from the Attitude Era are back in the WWE for who knows how long. But man, the crowds are so hot when they come in, and it's good stuff. So those are all your championship matches at Night of Champions. The one other bit of wrestling news I wanted to mention is at the next NXT special event, the Divas title, which was recently won by Bayley over Sasha Banks in a match for the ages, one of the best Divas matches you'll ever see, as well as the Sasha Banks Becky Lynch match from a few takeovers ago as well. The WWE NXT, they're where the Divas Revolution is at, and the WWE needs to get out of it and let all the creatives at NXT head the creative on the WWE's end for their Divas Revolution. It's the only chance they got, but like I said, it's not going to happen because Vince doesn't want the Divas Revolution to succeed. That's the truth. That's the conspiracy that you need to know. So every time it sucks and you're mad about it sucking, just be mad at Vince. He's undermining it all. Okay. But anyway, yeah, Bayley and Sasha Banks will be having a 30-man Iron Woman match, or 30-minute Iron Woman match. A la the 60-minute Iron Man match that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had many years ago, epically historic. That match, the Sasha Bayley Iron Woman match, will be incredible. Don't miss it. Watch NXT. It's way better than WWE. But still watch WWE too. All right. Just a few more quick things. All right. So a tiny bit of WNBA news. The season is over, and I'm telling you, if you need an excuse to give women's basketball a chance, if you're a guy, watch The Sky. That's the name of the team. The player is Elena Della Don. You're probably familiar with her from her college career a little bit, maybe. She was a stud in college. She won this year's WNBA MVP award. She's a phenomenal basketball player. I mean, really, just from a basketball playing standpoint, she is phenomenal. And as a sports fan, you can get a lot of entertainment out of her, enjoying watching her. And then if she's she plays for Chicago Sky, by the way. But and then if you're maybe not quite that that into it, if you're a little more